Hello, everybody. I have a question for you. Has life, which means other people usually, or maybe even yourself, tried to keep you in a box? You want to explore all aspects of your personality. You want to do different things, but everyone tells you stay in your own lane. Well, if you followed my social media for a while, you know I'm not a big fan of staying in your own lane. I think there's lots to our personalities that is worthy of exploration. And yes, I actually do believe you can be good at all of your interests to some degree. I'm never going to be a singer here at Manhattan Center on stage unless everyone brings their earplugs. But you can be really good at a lot of things if you set your mind to excellence and time management, and you really say, I'm going to focus on what I'm passionate about and give myself the time to explore it. So today, I have a guest that fascinates me on endless levels. I met her back in 2016 and rapidly felt like I had met a soul sister. And her name's Ginni Conquest. She is co-director at Wilhelmina Models for the women's and direct divisions. And she also has become a prolific writer of romance novels. And that's not an easy feat to do excellence in two whole different pathways. And that doesn't even mention when I see her cooking hundreds of meatballs for her church for a dinner, or the things she does for basset hounds and other dogs. So I want to welcome you, Ginni Conquest.
Thank you, Diane. I'm so happy and honored that you asked me to be a part of this wonderful series that you tape, and I'm very excited about today.
So, Ginni, you truly live out of the box. And my guess is your parents dealt with this your whole life. So let's start early on. What was Ginni like as a child? Because I'm curious.
Well, my mom still has our report cards from elementary school. And on the back on mine was always, Ginni had a bubbly and enthusiastic personality. She never sat still. I think in today's time, I might have been classified. But I kept my parents on their toes, so to speak. I never stopped. I didn't want to miss out of a moment of anything that was happening with my brothers and my friends. And I just think that even though as time went on and I got older, I still maintain that little bit of enthusiasm and wanting to be a part of the action, so to speak, or make some of the action. So I don't think that that's changed since I've been at like 6, 7 years old.
I think that's a great trait, frankly. And not too long ago, I found my elementary school report cards and where they were grading you on your social skills.
Yes.
For accepts criticism. I always got not satisfactory. I was not good at accepting criticism. And I really think that probably served me well because it set me on my passion, in different areas and made me say, it toughens you up.
It does. I remember when you were just saying that, I almost laughed out loud. We used to make ashtrays out of our handprints in kindergarten. And my mother would display my brothers and my ashtrays, on across the TV in the 60s. And my mother would say, these are my sons. And they had nice prints and they were painted gold. And she goes, and this was my daughter's. And I remember I went, boom. I was in Mrs. Globitz's class in Oakview School in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and my ashtray has the plaster coming over the sides. The handprint went down to the bottom of the cardboard, and I painted it silver. And to this day, as you can see, I love silver. That's my thing, silver everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I got unsatisfactory in that and just out of control, basically. So
That
it is what
is
it
a
is.
great story.
Yeah.
Okay, now at some point, you're getting a little older, and rumor has it you had a music career.
For a while, it
Tell
started in. Well, I always sang all through elementary school, into my high school years. I had a little bit of classical training till I got bored with that. But I wanted to sing rock and roll. So I
Who
was
was
already.
inspiring you?
Oh, at that time, Pat Benatar, big time. Grace Slick, Janis Joplin, Ann Wilson.
Yeah.
Those are probably my four top, women in rock and roll that really I said I wanted to be like them. I can do this in a male-dominated world.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was already working at Wilhelmina, and I met my boyfriend at the time, who happened to be a guitarist, and they were playing for an Elvis Presley impersonating band. And actually, that person, I don't know if I can say his name, I'll keep his name out of it. He became my vocal coach, the Elvis singer. And he was wonderful. And he brought out what was this little sweet voice that I had into something that I was surprised at myself. So he wanted me to open up a show. I said, well, what band am I going to sing with? What am I going to do? And he says, well, you'll play with my guys. You do 2 sets. I remember we were in a club in Queens. And when I first met the guys, I didn't feel very comfortable with them, I have to say. They didn't know who I was. Who is this girl bringing in? She's going to open up 2 sets. What the hell's going on? And
She's not Elvis.
No, not Elvis. Elvira. No, no, not Elvis. But I did, once we did the first set, we got off stage and the audience was going crazy. And my dad, he never missed a performance that I've done. He was there.
Wow.
And I remember the drummer at the time, he was like beyond excited. And I always felt uncomfortable. Marco, I know if you're going to hear this, you know this, so I'm not telling a lie. But all of a sudden I felt like, oh, I'm part of this group now for whatever reason. So we did our second set and they told me after, we want to talk to you like a couple of days down the road, and ended up being they wanted to do something with me and do original music in New York. And they ended up leaving the Elvis impersonator, and we went full on, went through a couple of name changes. But
wait a second, I have to ask you a
Yes.
question. Since your first thing was with them, you were probably doing covers.
Oh, covers.
Okay,
yeah.
so what do you remember as some of your favorite covers to sing at that?
I wasn't
those first
given-
super early days.
I wasn't given much of a choice for this. So I remember singing Borderline.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the hell
Yep.
that, right. She works hard for the money. And there was a couple, I Want to Know What Love Is.
Oh,
That was my
wow.
favorite. We did that too. And there were some other, I did like 4 or 5 songs per set. And that was enough. We just felt like there was a spark there. And they ended up leaving the Elvis guy. And we started
I love
what
this
eventually calling ourselves Spies. And we put out a CD. I don't know if I brought it with me. So here's the CD that we did. And that's us back in the early 90s. I had red henna hair. I would henna my hair because it would look great under the lights.
Yeah.
And we played together for about 5 years. And
Wow.
and we had a great following in New York. We played at clubs most bands would give their left and right arms to play. I think our biggest show was opening for the Tubes at the Limelight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I just felt I'm a Catholic girl, and I just thought I'm going to die here at this church, this place that was turned into.
I think
a club.
we all had that feeling the first time we walked into the Limelight. There was that, like, especially if you grew up Catholic.
Yeah, just like a little bit, but it was. For me, an amazing set that we did, and Fee Waybill was singing, with the Tubes, and it was quite the experience, and very packed to the rafters, literally the rafters.
Oh yeah.
But I have great memories. I mean, our songs were. I think, very welcomed by people. We had diehard group of fans that were always at our shows. And I think when you do original music, it's the biggest form of flattery when you see people in the audience singing your words back to you. And I would get a kick out of that. I knew I reached those people, and that was my goal as their singer, to put on a great show. And I always worried about my voice and whatnot, but knowing that I went out there and gave 100% every show, really, that just made it all really worthwhile for me. So.
Now, how did the music evolve into the next iteration of Ginni Conquest? You were working at Wilhelmina, you said at the time, in the New York office, the iconic
New York office, the one on 37th Street. Well, we would rehearse, or if we were recording the CD, we would be up all night long. I'd go home, take a shower, go to work. Could I do that now? No. But back then I was in my 30s. So we stayed out all night and enjoyed. Or I remember when we played the China Club quite a number of times. And one night we didn't get our equipment out of the club fast enough. So we were stuck there till like 2, 3 in the morning. And I was like, oh, this one's going to be rough the next day at the office, because then we had to get home to Queens and unload. Thank God I just had my mic stand.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm done, and my husband at the time was my guitar player, and he had equipment up the wazoo. And we had, a couple of friends that were roadies and would help unload the guys out of the van. And it was just a process, but one have such great memories for me, though.
That's so funny, because I followed David Coverdale from Whitesnake.
Right.
His X feed is hilarious.
Right.
I mean, he posts some very seriously funny memes about everything in life, and very self-deprecating. He's just a very funny sense of humor.
Right.
But some of them are what loadouts look like for the singer versus the guitarist, the singer versus the drummers.
Oh, yeah, Marco had equipment up the wazoo. I mean, I would just be standing there, okay.
I'm here.
I'm done, But it was just an interesting period of my life, because back then there weren't a lot of women lead singers.
Right.
At that time. So I would get a lot of, oh, are you like the girlfriend of the guy in the band? One of the guys, I'd be like, yeah, you can say that, because I was. I was actually married to him, but I didn't say that. They kind of figured it out. But when they realized I was the lead singer, the reactions were, oh, we got to stay and listen to this set. And I hope if any of these people are watching this, that they were pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed themselves.
I always wonder if I saw you at China Club, because we would have crossed paths during those years, even though.
Maybe. We played there, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
We always brought a great crowd there. I think what the bartenders hated, though, when we did play, the bars weren't busy, because people were actually coming over and hanging out and paying attention to what we were doing. But we also brought in a good-looking crowd, too. A lot of the models would go. So that did not hurt with the promoters much at all, But all in all, I had great memories, played at incredible clubs here in New York. And it kind of like set me up for doing the books.
Now, before we get to the books, we need to transition into the modeling period, because you have been an Uber agent now all these years at Wilhelmina. It's
42
years at Wilhelmina. So you saw so many iterations of the world of modeling, and you surfed them.
Yes.
You went through them. I try to imagine, when I see how efficient bookings go now, with you get this electronic thing that says, are you in?
That's correct.
But let's talk about those early days. I'm just curious what modeling agencies looked like pre-electronics and computers.
Oh, it was a different story. You would think I'd have muscles like Arnold Schwarzenegger, because before the wheel came into play, the boards.
Wait a second, the wheel.
I'll explain that, because that thing threw my back out, and Wilhelmina paid for my workers' comp to go to a chiropractor for a year. Not kidding, that was awful. But the boards would slide, and you'd have a month at a time. And then you'd pull out, they're all paper charts. So you'd pull out, it would be week by week by week by week. So you'd have a month ahead of you, because obviously some models who are really busy would have options a month ahead of time, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. But we would handwrite everything. So the bitch of it all would be is if a client called back and said, oh, I need to change the time. And I'd be like, you're kidding me. Give me those charts back, everyone, because we would all be like yelling for the charts. It was a little pandemonium.
I cannot imagine.
No, I don't even know how we did it. And beepers were in play. So if a new casting came in, you would call say a photographer that we knew was going to see about 20 girls and you needed those 20, you would say, please have every model from Wilhelmina call their agency. Then the phones would constantly be going with girls. You called me, you called me, you called me. Or we would beat people and I would put 911 in after our phone number. As I tell them, if you don't call me and I beep you, I'm going to go nuts, But that's how it was back in the day. Then,
oh my gosh.
Then we went to the wheel.
Okay, what's the wheel?
Okay. And it was a big round thing in the center of a round table, and all the agents sat around the round table. And then you could have as many months months in advance written up for the models in their little slide. Every model had a little compartment, their name, last name, or however they went by. So you just pull out the charts and then write in what the clients wanted. But back then also we recorded bookings. We would hit a switch on our phone, tell the client we were recording, go through the whole booking and get them to agree to it. And that's how we protected bookings back then. Now everything is electronic. Everything is on email. All the agents connect all emails to the charts. So this way there's no discrepancy. Everything is right there. I remember when we went to computer, I was just like, oh, this is an old dog learning a new trick right now. I already knew how to type. I had that in high school, and I did have a computer at home. But to learn a program after doing what I was doing for so long, handwriting,
oh yeah,
I realized, how did this business ever exist without computer? So I have to say, I love it so much better now.
I'm going to come back to that computer part when we get into your next iteration.
Okay.
But before we go there, I've always been curious. How do you know how the modeling industry came to just referring to models by pretty much just a first name?
When I was in it in the 80s, some of the girls went already by their last name. I think
they did.
It happened back even in the 70s, in the 60s. If a model was known by their first name, or sometimes they use their last name as their first name, that's how it just went. No rhyme or reason about it. It's just like how the model was known in the business. So, and it just kind of translates. But today, we kind of use the full name, first and last name. So there's no confusion.
Now, you've been an agent 42 years.
Yes.
You've seen a bit of everything that's gone on.
Mm-hmm.
What are the biggest things that have either surprised you or awed you or just made you say, wow, really?
I think the trends.
Uh-huh.
I remember back in the 80s, it was very androgynous.
Mm-hmm. Yup.
And, but the women, they were beautiful, but they were kind of like nondescript. It was just not what I was used to, because I always gravitated to a classically beautiful look, leaning a lot towards a brunette with light eyes. That was always my thing, always in the business, though I like all different, types of beauty, right?
But a brunette with light eyes.
Let me just premise that. But just from my own personal thought process, that's what I gravitated towards, when I was looking, for a model. So then it went from there, and then it went back to like classic, pretty, beautiful. So I understood that. And then in 91, my boss offered me the sophisticated women's division. because we saw the trends that were starting to happen, that women 35 and older were becoming popular, because that's the core spending out there is women 35 and older, and they wanted to see models that they could relate to. They didn't want to see a 20-something made up to look like they were in their 30s, 40s. They wanted the actual thing. So that's when we started the Sophisticated Women's Division, and we're very successful for 4 or 5 years with that group of women. I loved it. I still love it. I handle those women today. My oldest is 72. You're also one of my ladies, which I
One of your oldest.
but absolutely.
Age-wise.
You're amazing. So it's just, I love this core age group. They're just very popular again. So I love that the tide, has turned, because like in 96, 95, 96, it bottomed out.
Why do you think that was?
I think the advertisers wanted to hire a younger model, make them look older, and get the most money out of them. They just didn't want to hire an older model, classic model that would just be, okay, we just have this one look for her.
Right.
We can't really make her look younger. So it really hurt our business. It hurt our business. I believe that the also plus size division also took a major hit, and sophisticated men. We had older guys too. So those divisions kind of like went to the wayside. But then about 10 years ago, 5 years, 7 years ago, I started getting calls from my clients. Hey, Jen, you got anybody in your 40s, 50s? I went, yeah. I didn't. I was like, yeah, because I'm going to, try to get the sale, right?
Right.
And I went through my Rolodex brain, because that's what we used back in the day. And I was like, oh, maybe let me contact this model, that model, this one, see if they are still working, want to work, have any New York representation. And a lot of them didn't. So I was able to get some of these women on board back with Wilhelmina. And then things just started happening from there. Are they busy continuously in this age group? No, not like it used to be. However, when they're busy, they make money. And it's great to have those women, on board. And a lot of them do other things on the side. You, for example, I have other women that have side businesses and whatnot, or they're raising a family. And if I can come to them and offer them a job and a couple of $1,000s, they're like, sure, why not, right? So it works out, for everyone. But it's just my privilege to represent this beautiful group of women, and proudly so.
It's so funny when you talk about bringing back the older women again. I'll never forget, I think it was my first or second campaign. I walked in, and it was Amazon Oprah that you had booked me for. And on the screen, up on the wall, is a picture of me, and it says 70-year-old chic woman. And
You're not
I remember, it was so funny. Then I see this guy looking at me, and I'm looking at the wall, and then I see him looking at me again. Right. And he says, listen, I'm the photographer. You're already hired for this job, so I'm not breaking any laws.
Right.
He goes, are you really 70? I said, no, I'm 56. He goes, okay, I thought so. He goes, that's how old my wife is.
There you go. There you go. I always say this business is an illusion anyway, but
An illusion is fun.
It's fun.
Now, you said something about going from spinning the wheel to electronics, and you knew how to type, and now you're typing things. But a while ago, you told me your inspiration for writing your first book came on a train, and that book was penned on a phone.
Yes, correct. My iPhone.
Tell me about this, because I cannot imagine how you're hustling all day long. And I certainly know how hard you work. And anyone who has the privilege of working with Wilhelmina knows how hard you work on their behalf. You're unbelievable what you manage. Truly remarkable, Ginni.
Thank you.
And what you keep track of in your mind. And your organization skills, you could teach a course on that.
Maybe that's a good idea.
You really could. Your organization skills are mind-blowing to me.
Thank you.
But at some point, you got decided to write a book,
Yes.
and you're. I can't even picture this.
Oh my gosh. All right. But I have to back up another step.
Okay.
Okay. I had a very sexy dream one night.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up telling an agent that I keep in touch with about it. She sat next to me, and all I remember is she like stopped typing. And I'm not telling her all the hotness that was. She looked at me, she goes, "You have to do something with this." And I went, "Oh my God, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a romance book." And that's what happened. And I, at that point, had over a 2-hour commute each way to work. So I had an iPhone 4, and I would write with one finger on my notes. And then I would email all my notes to myself. So sometimes my notes would disappear off this phone, and I would just go crazy to lose a couple of chapters. I'd go out of my mind. And nobody on the train knew what I was doing. I'm writing this sexy story, right? So I would show it to one of my girlfriends on the train. She goes, "Jen, I can't handle this." You know, it was like hilarious. But I wrote Love Never Fails on my commute to and from on my Apple iPhone 4. I had that phone for like 6 years. So
I think they should be sending you a new one
I have
for
a 12,
free, just for.
I have a 12 now, and I
story.
own it, so they should send me a new one, right? With a great camera, one of the great camera ones. You hear that, Apple? But anyway, I did write it, and I published it on Amazon. And I'm all, self-published contemporary romance writer. So A Love Never Fails was born, and it kind of like put me on a trajectory which my husband does not understand. He's like, "Where are you getting these ideas from?" But I have to say, over the years, I'm getting less spicy with my Rockstar romance series, which I know we're going to talk about. It's more clean romance with some spice. And we'll talk about that. I'm not going to jump ahead, but
So let's take your evolution.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Love Never Fails.
Right.
You start off, you create these two dynamic characters.
Yes.
There's other characters in it, but it's this tension between two characters.
Yeah,
How
business taboo. Business taboo.
Yeah.
Yes. So Gregory Steele and Samantha Hartley.
I remember the beginning of that book vividly. It
very.
got you right into it.
Got you right.
Literally.
Ooh, I'm turning red. But I love those two characters so much so that I did do a sequel. And that was, I should have brought a cheat sheet because I'm going to forget these things. But there is a book too, and about the younger Steele brother. So Jalen is his name. And I actually forget the female, but that doesn't matter. But those two I've done. And then I did a book called Love Never Fails. And I think that is my most spiciest one. Everyone needs a Damien in their life.
Yes.
Hands off. And then I switched gears and went to a second chance romance with a spiritual, but not spiritual, religious, spiritual from beyond theme. And I'm in the process of rewriting that one because I want to re-release it. That one is very near and dear to my heart. And so that one came about with like a Cape May type setting, because that's my favorite place in the world is Cape May. And then I kind of evolved. I was asked, well, in between, my dad passed away in 2020, not from COVID, but I stopped writing for like a year. And then a writer friend of mine reached out to me, Kitty Berry, and she's put together a small town romance series, and she's asking authors to each write a book. She would give the character, she would give the synopsis, you write the story.
That's a cool idea.
And she's like, "Ginni, you want to be a part of it?" And my mother, I remember I was visiting my mom in Virginia at the time. My mother's going, "Please, please, just do it, do it, do it." And I says, "Okay, I'll do it." So that was my first book back since my dad passed. And I loved doing that. That was fun. That was like 20 different authors, I think, or 15 different authors with all their talents and whatnot, bringing these characters to life. So that was the Falls Village series. So that kind of got me back into it. And then I was asked to be a part of an MC Motorcycle Club romance anthology. by one of my good friends, Barbara Nolan. She's an incredible, I'm going to plug Barb, MC Mafia romance.
Uh-huh.
Things that I don't write about. I like reading Motorcycle Club, romance.
Yeah.
Mafia, not so much. But she says, Jen, do you want to do this? I said, I haven't written. I don't know how to write a Motorcycle Club romance. I love those dirty talking, tatted up muscle men. I read about it. I says, okay, maybe let me just step out of my comfort zone and let me do this. And I did it. So I'll show the cover.
Yeah.
This one's called Unlawful Love. And it is read as a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
But that was an interesting journey. I love that. And then it brought me up to my near and dear, the books that I love, a 6-book series that I'm in the process of creating. 3 books are out now. And it was because of my former drummer, Marco. He had written me on Facebook.
And what did he say?
Why don't you write about what you know? And I went,
Oh.
okay. I said, oh, no, I'm not writing about my years in the band with all you guys. That's just not going to happen. But I created 2 imaginary bands with 6 members each, a guy band, Warning's Edge, and a female band, Flame Seduction. And they end up going on tour together, and things happen. So this is the first one, Song of the Heart, the beginning. And my second one, which is part 2, because each book has all the guys and girls in it, but each book focuses on one of the guys. So this one's book 2, Unforgiven. And then the one that just came out in June is Believe.
Mm-hmm.
So these are my books. And my brother, Ron Samard, shot the covers in Virginia.
He did a great job on all the covers.
Him and John Daly, who's a friend of his, who's a drummer in various bands in Richmond. These guys are going to love that I'm plugging their names. John is an incredible musician, but I did not know what I was doing with the covers because Melissa Gill, who does my covers in LA, she said to me, Jen, there's no good cover art for rock romance. So now I get offline with her and now I'm crying because I have a book done and I have no cover. And that's what sells your book.
Yeah.
That's what brings them in.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my brother. I go, what am I going to do? He goes, I'm going to handle this. I'll call you back. Unbeknownst to me, he called John. And John goes, it's an 80s rock series? And my brother's like, yes.
Yeah.
He says, I got a band for you. Let me get the information, see if they'll do it. So I got Patrick's name. Patrick is my main character of the book. Bo Taggart is the name.
Mm-hmm.
It was modeled after Tommy Thayer from Kiss, one of my favorite guitar players. But I reached out to Patrick on Facebook and I told him what I was doing and would he do this, for me? And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it. So my brother, we got him in the studio, shot the cover, and he also does the back covers.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick is always on my back cover since his character is the leading character throughout the whole series. He's always on my back covers, as you can see.
Yes.
But my brother did a really tremendous job for me.
He did.
And all the guys have been wonderful. They are from a band, 80s band called Tees in Virginia, 80s cover band. They were on the Kiss Cruise twice, so you know they're good. They are phenomenal. They will take you back to the 80s and their musicianship, their stage presence. They've got the whole thing going.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Nadine, she had me cracking up because she thought that was Patrick's hair. And so when she saw a picture of me and Patrick, because he signed all the books, all the guys signed the book, they signed as their character name, not as their name. You gotta love these guys. My friend's like, wait, that wasn't his real hair? I went, no, Nadine, that was a wig. They all sorry.
I didn't know that either.
I'm telling you, they look amazing. But Joey's who's their drummer in the band, he's going to be the next guy. He'll be up on the 4th cover. I just have to write Jax's story, and then my brother will take care of that. And then the 5th book will be about Bo again and Cheyenne. And then the last book, I'm keeping that a secret. And that'll end the series. Or maybe. But that's the plan.
You have the idea for that
Yeah.
secret book already? Mm-hmm. Where do these ideas come from?
Don't know.
You don't know.
I have no idea where I come up with this stuff. I can walk through the grocery store shopping and talk to myself. The dialogue out loud. And, people look at me in the store and then I realize I'm doing that. So I shut up. I'm like, sorry, I'm not crazy. I'm doing it for a reason. But try to say the dialogue out loud. It's just so you want it to be real. It can't be fake because then, you're not going to grab that reader. You want it to be like, oh, this could have really happened, moment type of thing. So I don't know where these ideas come from. It's very strange.
It's funny. I recently interviewed Tom Leopold, who was one of the head writers for Seinfeld and Will and Grace and Cheers. And I said, do you sit in a writing room and are you Jerry and you're Elaine and we're Norm? Or, I'm probably mixing up all my shows.
Right.
You're all the different characters. And he said, no. He goes, everybody just kind of writes and comes up with that's what amazes me with fiction writing. How you have to become all these different personalities to keep the dialogue steady for that person. Like when you read a good book, Damien or, whichever character you're working on, it would throw you off if it wasn't well done, if the character said something, for lack of a better word, out of character.
Out of character. It's not believable. You'll lose the reader at that point. I think out of this series, my favorite character is Cal.
Yeah.
He flies by the seat of his pants. He's the jokester. He loves food. This guy could eat 24/7, and he drives all the other guys crazy in the band. And he has his favorites. Like he's got to have his Doritos. He's got to have this. But he will just pile up on his plate. And I just carry his craziness throughout the whole series because it's expected now. And I've had a couple of readers write to me saying how funny Cal is and they enjoy him. But it's really about the camaraderie. I don't write so much about the actual music business because then, these books will be this tall. That's not why I'm doing this. It's all about their hopes and dreams and a belief in oneself. And that's the message that I put in because it could be for young readers, old readers, any age group. There's no limit, on this book. I would say 17 and older for, that kind of thing because there is some heat in it. But I think it's more about the message. It's about the camaraderie of the guys and the girls in the band that come into play here. This one has some heartbreak in it. I had to do something. I had to make it like a jolt. And I never, on these other books, I read everything to my mom as I was writing. This book, I kept it a secret, and I wrote it in 2 weeks because I know I needed it for SAS, which is a book signing that I do every year in Virginia. And it was at the end of middle of July. I don't even know what month it is, but July. And I was like, oh, wow, I procrastinated enough. I have 2 weeks to get it done. So I knew my proofreader editor would have time to do it. The cover was done. And it was just me. I did not know what I was doing. But there is heartbreak. So Mom read it for the first time and calling me up crying. She goes, I can't believe you did this to this character. I was like, Mom, I had to. I had to. I love the guys in the group. I love the positive message that they have. And I hope that translates to my readers out there.
When you say you love the positive message, if I was going to take Ginni Conquest, and yes, I have to tell everyone, Conquest really is her name.
That's my real name.
It is not a stage
24
name.
years. December, it'll be 24 years. How did that happen? I don't know.
But if I had to come up with a hashtag to me that defines Ginni.
Oh, no.
I know what I would choose for you, but I'm curious. First, I'm going to let you say what you would choose for you, and I wish I'm writing this down.
Okay, I have one.
Okay, what would it be?
Hashtag buckle up.
Ooh.
Buckle up for the ride, baby. That's what I think I would do,
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start doing that now.
Yeah. Let's get that trending. Buckle up.
Buckle up.
that, having read your books, I think that's a good one
That's
for
a good
you.
one. Okay.
And knowing a bit about your life, I further think that's a good one. And I think it ties into what I would have chosen for you, which is dreams do come true.
That's a nice one.
That's what I think of when I think of you.
Thank you.
Because I think it's a two-way thought process. One, I think you've made a lot of dreams come true for a lot of people in your life, for the animals you've rescued, for the models you've, booked in campaigns, and in yourself, because you wanted to be a singer. So you said, I'm going to make that dream come true. I want to be a modeling agent. And you didn't just be a modeling agent, you became one of the best modeling agents. You didn't want to just write a book, you wrote many books. So you're really on all sides of that dreams coming true. That's how I think of you.
That's a nice hashtag. I like that one too. Thank you. From
it goes
my heart.
well with buckle up.
From my heart.
Buckle up,
babe.
We didn't say how the dreams come true.
Right.
We didn't say it's like straight. It's kind of like a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. Well, that's what one reviewer, I don't know who they were, said Ginni, takes you on a roller coaster ride with this Rockstar series. So I hope that that's true for a lot of people. So buy the book. Support your indie authors. We're out there. There's a lot of great authors out there. And
now let's talk about being an indie author.
Yeah.
You're wearing every hat.
Doing
you're
everything.
Writing, you're designing your cover, you're figuring out how to market this.
Yes. It's hard. It's a lot of, like you said, hats at one. The difference between this and traditional publishing, I call the shots. Mm-hmm. Maybe a publisher wouldn't want Richie on the cover of this book, but I love this cover. It speaks to me.
Yeah.
And I like having that control. I love being in control over certain things in my life, right? So, but it is hard. It is a bitch to do all the self-promoting.
Yeah.
It really is. And it can run into a lot of expense. So I also rely on the reviews that I get, the ARC readers that I reach out to, asking them to leave, a real honest review. I appreciate it. Because the more reviews you get, the more Amazon, I guess, sits up and takes notice and whatnot. But so I'm learning as I go. I don't have, a PA to help me, I'm not at that, feel I'm at that point to invest that kind of money. But, someday, yes, I'm sure I will. And then this way I could pass everything on to him or her to handle for me. And so my books really take off. My dream is for Hallmark to pick this one up. There isn't a story like this, a Christmas story, that I've seen on the Hallmark. And this one is Believe in It Will Happen. Yeah. And it's such a great story.
It is a great story.
Takes place in New York. Part of it has happened to me. And that's what kickstarted this one because of my niece. But it's a really, cute, quick read, nice, clean romance, and gives you a lot of hope, and it's just very holiday infused. So,
and who doesn't like a Hallmark movie?
I'm telling you,
come the holidays.
Yeah, but guys, Hallmark. There you go. This one, you have to. You have to. I do have it with a friend who works for Hallmark, so I'm begging him to try to get it in someone's hands. We'll see what happens. I put it in his hands and the man upstairs or the woman upstairs to put it into the right channels. And maybe someone at Hallmark will be like, all right, let's take a chance on this Ginni Conquest book.
Yeah.
It is something different, though, than what they have already on, for their Christmas lineup. So maybe it'll resonate with one of the higher-ups there.
And no doubt you could follow up with lots more.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I have a question. We started this off talking about balance.
Okay.
You balance so many things in your life. How do you do it?
I love it. I'm an Aries woman. Come on.
Uh-huh.
Aries women, we love a challenge. We just tackle that mountain, you know. I'm very active in my church.
I know
I've
you
been the president of the Rosary Altar Society for 22, 23 years because no one wants the job. It is a lot. And my priest, who's a good friend of mine, he's like my grandpa, Father Sean, knows that I write, and he's giving me his blessing. You know, he knows about this series, which I think is very cute. You know, that Father Sean, I just hope he doesn't read it. But I don't have to go to confession. No one has to go to confession after reading the Rockstar romance. I do that. I try to support the 2 local Basset Hound rescues that we get our dogs from, Tri-State Basset Hound Rescue, Mid-Atlantic Basset Hound Rescue. I go to their events. I raise money when I go to those events. And the Tricky Tray is coming up in September, which I love, for Mid-Atlantic Basset Rescue. So I'm trying to get a big table of my friends to go. And we spend a lot of money. And it is one of their biggest fundraisers of the year. And it's so important for the rescues to raise and make this money. It's the only way they can rescue hounds that are in need, you know, dire need. Right now, I have our 5th and 6th Basset Hounds that we rescued. And Jameson, I've had him since he was 4 months old. Now he's 2.5 at 85 pounds. He was just weighed yesterday at the vet. He's a monster, but he is mama's boy all the way. And he is stunning. They have their own Instagram page also, but you can go on my page and see pictures of them. And then Grayson, we adopted him last July. After our dog Sammy, we had to put him down. Still breaks our hearts over that, but it's part of life. What are you going to do, right? But at least you give these dogs a loving home. They get spoiled the way all dogs should be spoiled. You know, I don't want to get teary-eyed over this, but the horror stories that you hear out there by terrible people and what they do to their dogs. I mean, humans can be their own worst enemy, you know. But so we do what we do with these rescues, and it's the best we can do, you know, but every little bit helps them. And so we have Grayson and Jameson right now, and they're a handful, but I love them more than my own life at times. My husband's like, you're whacked. But then I see him, oh, Jameson, you're my boy. And I'm like, yeah, after he's telling me I'm crazy, look at him loving on the dogs, you know. But they're great. They give you so much joy and love back.
So what does a day look like for you?
Well, they wake me up at 7. The good thing is I only go to New York once a week. And when I do that, I'm up at 5 because I'm out the house at 6 to catch the train to get to New York. So that's one day a week, and that'll be tomorrow. But my other days of the week, they get me up at 7. I don't have to set the alarm. They want to go out. They want to eat. They want to get hugs. They want to go for a walk. So my morning centers around the 2 of those dogs, right? Once they're taken care of, then I take care of myself so I can be online for 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning and start my day. And then my husband comes down between like 9 and 10. You know, why didn't you wake me up? I'm like, I'm already working. Set an alarm. You know, I'm already into my day at that point. And, you know, I take a quick break. I'll eat at my desk, you know, even at work. And when I'm in the office tomorrow, I eat at my desk and finish out when I'm at Wilhelmina by 4 so I can get home. And then I go back online, right? But at home, when I'm working from home, I'll finish out between 6 and 7 and then catch any straggling emails that come in. Because there's no border anymore. Now that clients know they can get you on your email, there's no borders. And it's fine. If it's something urgent, I understand and I will handle. But if it's something that could wait till the next day, then I shelve it because I do need my private time.
Right.
And that's when I will write or I'll read. Right now I'm in a reading frenzy. Or I walk the dogs, get together with my girlfriends, you know, hang out. So I have some fun. My dad's motto was try to have some fun every day. And I always keep that in my mind that my dad always said that. So I try to live that.
What does a reading frenzy look like for you?
Oh, on my phone, my Kindle's going to explode. Right now I'm reading a whole series, Motorcycle Club Romance. It's a 20-book series. So I'm in book 6 right now of this one author's book. I'm enjoying every minute.
Do you think that's going to take you back to that at some point?
I don't think I'll go back. My focus is my Rockstar romance. I want to get these books done. In my time, and just enjoy every moment of this journey. And then when that's done, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Well, I look forward to talking about that because I know it's going to be something good.
I hope so.
What would your parting words be? Because the time always goes so quick.
It always goes so fast. We're done. Oh,
I know. Can you believe it?
So much fun with you.
So what would be your parting words for someone who wants to, is working hard at their job, wants to excel in it, knows the importance of having their day job, but has all these other things they want to do and explore too? What would be your advice?
I would just say go for it. Find the time. Investigate. Depending on what it is. If it's like, say, for example, jewelry making, go on YouTube, take classes, learn everything you can, but then make it your own. And that's kind of like what I did with this. I've read so many romance novels by many different readers, have my own favorites, but I made it my own, And I would just say, life is for living, for the adventure of it. We're only given one life, so make the most out of it. And be happy at what you're doing. Don't let work consume you. Yes, work is a vehicle to make money, because we all have to make money in order to live, to have the apartment, the house, the groceries, the car, anything else you want, vacations. But you have to have some fun that makes you a well-rounded person, okay? You need to have that outlet. So I would just say go for it. Go for something that makes you absolutely happy. Don't wait, because life goes by very fast. It really does. And the older you get, it feels like it's going faster.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to reach out and grab every waking moment and don't waste it. And just try to have a good time, at least some point every day of your life. And that's from my dad.
That's good advice. I wish this wasn't over.
I wish it wasn't over. I
gosh.
Thank you so much for inviting me back.
Thank you.
I had a great time, and just from my heart, Di, thank you so much. Love you.
Oh, I love you back, Ginni. My guest has been Ginni Conquest. You can follow her on a variety of Instagram and Facebook accounts, and go to her website and go to her Amazon page and buy her books and leave reviews. And I'm going to have a ton of links for you to follow below here, because I highly recommend you follow all of her passions, because she's just plain fascinating. So thank you very much, Ginni. I really appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Di.
Mwah. And thank you, everybody. We are recording from iconic Manhattan Center. I just love this place. I'm in TV2, and thank you, Manhattan Center, for putting us here. And please hit subscribe and share this with your friends who want to live outside of the box, unbox their dreams, and will know they need to buckle up to get on that journey.